There's something powerful, something supernatural, something holy that happens when you realize that your brokenness is not a barrier to God, it's a bridge. The very thing you thought disqualified you is the thing that draws him the most. You may feel like your heart is in pieces, like your soul has been crushed beneath the weight of betrayal, loss, or loneliness. You may be sitting in the ashes of what used to be your joy, your relationship, your dream. But hear me today, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted. He's not just near in a general way, he's close. That means he's leaning in. That means he's present in the place of your deepest pain. You don't have to clean yourself up to come to him. You don't have to put on a mask or pretend you've got it all together. He's not waiting for you to fix it before he finds you. He finds you in it, in the pain, in the depression, in the confusion, in the nights where sleep escapes you and tears become your language. God doesn't abandon broken people. He specializes in them. He's the God who knelt in the dirt with a woman caught in adultery. He's the God who leaves the 99 to go after the one. He's the Father who runs to the prodigal while he still smells like pigs in regret. That's the God who is near to your broken heart right now. You see, people might walk away when you're broken. Friends may not know how to handle your grief. Family might avoid your pain because it makes them uncomfortable. But not God. He comes closer. While others step back, he steps in. When the world tells you to get over it, God says, give it to me. When the enemy whispers you're too messed up to be loved, God declares you are mine, and I'm not going anywhere. Your tears are not a sign of weakness. They are a signal to heaven. And every tear you've cried has been collected. Every groan, every ache in your chest that had no words, God heard it. He saw you when no one else did. He sat with you when the silence was too loud, and he's still there, closer than ever. Don't let shame keep you from his nearness. Don't let fear tell you he's far away. The brokenhearted have a special place in the heart of God. That's why he said, I will never leave you nor forsake you. He's not a distant deity, he's an ever-present Father. So today, if your heart is broken, lift your eyes, because your pain is not being ignored, it's being noticed. And not only noticed, but it's being tended to by the one who binds up wounds, who speaks peace to storms, and who knows how to make beauty from brokenness. Let him come close. He's already there. There comes a moment in every life when pretending just doesn't work anymore. You've worn the mask, you've played the part, you've smiled on the outside while screaming on the inside. But God is not fooled by your performance. He sees beneath the surface. He knows what you're hiding behind the laughter, behind the busyness, behind the ministry, behind the work. And he said, if you want me to heal you, you've got to stop hiding from me. Too many of us are bleeding internally, but trying to live externally like nothing's wrong. We've learned how to function in dysfunction. We've learned how to walk with a limp and call it strength. But the truth is, God cannot heal what you won't hand him. He will not force his way into a place you've locked up. He stands at the door and knocks, but you've got to open. Healing doesn't start when you act like everything is okay. Healing starts when you say, God, I'm not okay. It begins the moment you get real with the one who already knows the truth. He's not intimidated by your pain. He's not shocked by your story. He doesn't recoil at your brokenness. He's been waiting for you to bring him what you've been carrying all along. And some of us have been praying for God to fix us, but we haven't been willing to expose what's really broken. We've been giving him the surface stuff, the polite prayers, the rehearsed religion. But what he's after is the raw part of you. The place that hurts, the place that fears, the place that still bleeds when no one's looking. That's where healing happens. That's where transformation begins. You don't have to be ashamed of your scars. You don't have to be embarrassed by your struggle. Your vulnerability is not a liability in the kingdom. It's a doorway to divine intervention. The moment you stop hiding is the moment God starts rebuilding. But as long as you keep pretending, you stay stuck in the cycle of silence, shame, and survival. Some of you have been hiding so long you've forgotten what healing even feels like. But I came to tell you, healing is still available. Peace is still possible. Wholeness is still waiting. But you've got to be willing to come out of hiding and say, Lord, here I am. Not the version people see. Me, the broken me, the scared me, the angry me, the confused me, the grieving me. And that's the version he wants. That's the version he died for. There's power in confession. There's breakthrough in honesty. When you bring the truth of your heart into the presence of God, he meets you with grace, not judgment. He meets you with mercy, not condemnation. And the very thing you thought would make him run from you is the thing that causes him to draw near. So stop hiding, come out from behind. Sometimes life hits you so hard it knocks the breath out of your spirit. You look around at the pieces of what used to be your dream, your relationship, your plan, and you wonder, how did I get here? You thought by now you'd be further. You thought this season would be full of joy, but instead it's full of confusion and loss. But hear this loud and clear. Brokenness is not the end. It may feel like a breakdown, but heaven sees it as a setup for something greater. God often does his best work in broken places. We think breakthrough starts when everything's going right, but no. Breakthrough usually begins when everything falls apart. When you're out of answers, out of strength, out of people, out of plans, that's when God steps in. That's when he shows you that his strength is made perfect in your weakness. It's when you reach the end of you that you begin to see the start of him. Some of the greatest shifts in your life will come from the places where you were shattered. Don't despise the breaking. It's a divine process. God never breaks you without a purpose. You may not see it now, but he's rearranging things. He's stripping away what was temporary to make room for what is eternal. He's removing who you thought you needed so he can give you who he ordained. He's closing one door, not to leave you empty, but to prepare you for the right one to open. You thought the rejection was the worst thing that could happen, but in God's hands it was redirection. You thought the closed door was a curse, but it was actually a curving. Sometimes God will allow the breaking so he can break you free from the limitations you placed on yourself, from the toxic connections that held you back, from the version of life that was too small for the destiny he has for you. You see, the enemy wants you to believe that the breaking is the end of the story. He wants you to get stuck in the moment of pain and forget that God has a plan. But you've got to remind yourself, this is not how it ends. There's another chapter. There's more to your story. What the enemy meant for evil, God is already turning for your good. Don't throw in the towel just because things broke. Sometimes the blessing is hidden in the breaking. What looks like a loss is often the beginning of new life. What feels like destruction is actually construction for something bigger, something better, something beyond what you imagine. So lift your head, wipe your tears. You're not broken beyond repair. You're just being rebuilt. This isn't a breakdown. This is the birthplace of breakthrough. And God isn't finished with you yet. Keep walking, keep trusting, keep believing. Because the comeback is always greater than the setback. When God gets ready to restore you, he doesn't just bring you back to where you were. He launches you into where you were meant to be. Restoration in the hands of God isn't about returning to what was. It's about stepping into what never could have been without the breaking. You see, when people fix things, they try to make them look like they used to. But when God restores, he makes it better, stronger, wiser, deeper, more powerful than anything you had before. Some of you are crying over what you lost, but if you only knew what God was preparing to bring into your life, you'd start praising him right in the middle of your pain. The enemy thought breaking you would bury you, but what he didn't realize is that the breaking was the beginning of your becoming. You're not coming out the same, you're coming out transformed. You're coming out with fire in your belly and power in your hands. God doesn't waste a wound. He doesn't overlook your suffering. He takes every ounce of pain, every sleepless night, every tear-soaked pillow, then uses it as raw material to build the testimony that will shake hell and encourage the broken. You thought it was over, but it was only a reset. You thought it was defeat, but it was divine development. You thought you were being crushed, but God was cultivating something greater in you. You don't have to chase the people who left. You don't have to beg for the door that closed. You don't have to try to patch up something God is trying to replace. When God restores, he doesn't need leftovers. He creates newness. That's why the scripture says, behold, I make all things new, not patched, not repaired, new. You're not just going to survive the storm. You're going to come out with strategy. You're going to come out with wisdom. You're going to come out with anointing. The fire you walked through didn't burn you. It branded you. It marked you for purpose. That's why the enemy fought you so hard, because he saw who you were becoming before you did. But he couldn't stop it. He couldn't block it, and he sure can't reverse it. There's a restoration coming to your life that won't just bring things back, it'll bring them forward. It's the kind of restoration that gives you double for your trouble. The kind of restoration that sets you up for generational blessings. The kind of restoration that makes people say, how did they make it through that and still have joy? That's what happens when God gets involved. That's what happens when heaven touches the pieces of your life. So don't be afraid of the restoration season. Yes, it hurts. Yes, it stretches you, but it's working. And when God is done, you won't just be healed, you'll be whole. And you'll walk in the power you never knew you had. Let him finish the work. There's a lie the enemy whispers to broken hearts. It's the lie that says your pain is pointless, that everything you went through, every tear you cried, every door that slammed in your face, every person who walked away was for nothing. But let me tell you something. God does not waste pain. There's purpose in it. There's power in it. There's something divine being birthed through the very thing that tried to destroy you. You may not understand it now. You may still be standing in the ashes of what used to be. You may be questioning why it had to happen, why I had to hurt, why I had to hit you like it did. But let me assure you, heaven has a blueprint for your healing, and every ounce of pain is a part of the process. You are not being punished, you are being prepared. Preparation doesn't always look pretty. Sometimes it looks like isolation. Sometimes it feels like abandonment. Sometimes it feels like you're breaking down, but that breakdown is where God starts building up. That dark night is where he plants the seeds of purpose. That crushing season is where the oil of your anointing is being pressed out. Look at your scars. They're not signs of shame. They're signs that you survived. They're evidence that what was meant to take you out couldn't finish the job. That's purpose. That's destiny rising up in you through adversity. You see, diamonds are made under pressure. Gold is refined through fire. And your destiny is being shaped through every painful moment you thought would break you. It's in the pain that you learn who God really is. It's in the pain that you discover your strength. It's in the pain that you learn how to pray, how to fight, how to stand when everything around you is shaking. You don't get that kind of strength on the mountaintop. You get it in the valley, you get it in the furnace, you get it in the lonely places where it's just you and God. And that's where he downloads the purpose that will carry you into your next level. God is not just trying to fix your situation. He's forming your character. He's giving you endurance. He's teaching you how to hold on when everything says to let go. That pain isn't in vain. It's a setup. It's shaping the kind of person who can carry the weight of the blessing that's coming. So don't curse the pain. Don't despise the process. There's a plan in all of it. What the enemy meant to use as a weapon, God is turning into a tool. And when you come out of this, because you will come out, you won't just be healed. You'll be ready. You'll be stronger, wiser, and full of the purpose that was birthed through the very thing you thought would destroy you. You may have walked through hell. You may have cried rivers of tears. You may have questioned your worth, your purpose, your very existence. But I came to tell you something that hell doesn't want you to believe. Your best days are not behind you. They're still ahead. You are not finished. God is not done. And the story is far from over. The enemy wants to trap you in your past. He wants to keep playing reruns of your failures, your regrets, your heartbreaks, your losses. But God isn't a God of reruns. He's a God of redemption. He writes new chapters. And when he picks up the pen, he doesn't need permission from your past to release your future. The pain was real, yes. The loss cut deep, yes. But grace is deeper, mercy is greater. And the future God has for you is bigger than the one you lost. You got to stop living like your best days were back there, back when you were happier, back when they were still in your life, back when things made sense. That's a trap. The reason it hurts so bad is because you thought the best was behind you. But listen closely. If you're still breathing, there's still purpose. If you're still breathing, there's still heaven, still has a plan. You don't have to settle for survival when God is calling you into abundance. Sometimes the pain of the past is so loud it drowns out the promise of the future. But God is doing a new thing. Don't you perceive it? He's making rivers in the desert, making a way in the wilderness. That means even in the dry places, even in the confusion, even in the aftermath of loss, he's still moving, he's still working. And what he's preparing is going to blow your mind. You might not see how it could happen. You might not feel strong enough to believe again. But faith is not a feeling. It's a decision. It's choosing to believe in what you can't see because you trust in the one who sees everything. He's the Alpha and the Omega, the author and the finisher. If he started a good work in you, he's going to finish it. He's not just going to leave you halfway healed, halfway whole, halfway through your breakthrough. Your story is not defined by who left, by what broke, by how it ended. It's defined by who God is. And he is a restorer, a redeemer, a resurrector. That means even if something died in your life, your dream, your peace, your hope, he can breathe life into it again. He can raise it up better than before. So get ready, get your expectation back. Stop rehearsing the pain and start preparing for the promise. Your past may have shaped you, but it does not confine you. What's coming next is going to redeem what was lost, restore what was broken, and reveal